Okay, so as many of you guys probably already know, I live in Miami, the beautiful state, city, whatever the fuck, in the beautiful state of Florida. Um, and it's about 80 degrees here, or 89 degrees here. It's hot, I'm sweating. And there was just a big shooting here a couple days ago. Uh, and this shooting resulted in three casualties: the casualties of the two suspects of the shooting and a bystander, a civilian bystander who was being held hostage. Now, this shooting is the perfect demonstration of complete incompetence on the side of the police. Now, there's a lot. There's a lot that I can talk about here. There's a lot that I can cover with this situation. There is the mindset of the police. There is the reaction that UPS as a company and the public has had to this shooting. There's a lot I could go over, but I think it's already been covered pretty thoroughly. Instead, we're going to go over something that's a little more fun. We're going to go over how objectively fucking pathetic this display was by the police. Okay? We're going to go over it. So, for those of you guys who aren't caught up in the entire situation, okay? Basically, two armed criminals robbed a jewelry store. I think it was like a Jewelers or something. Like not like a mom and pop owned store. It's a chain, like a big jewelry store chain. What they did was they stole a UPS truck and held the driver hostage, and they were going to use the UPS truck as their getaway car as they robbed this jewel store, and that was their plan. Now, from the way that they worded it, nothing was able to be stolen from the jewelry store. Nothing was stolen, or if they did, they didn't have much. From the sound of it, from what I read. Now, let's look at this situation, right? From the point of view of the police, okay? So you hear that someone has two armed criminals with guns have taken a person hostage and have hijacked a truck. Okay? So that's the situation we have here. Now, if the police were competent in this situation, what they would have done is say, okay, Miami, the area that we're in, is very populated. It is 5 p.m., which is rush hour here. This is when everyone's driving home from work and coming home from school. There are a lot of cars on the road. There are a lot of people on the sidewalk, on the streets. This is the worst place and worst time of day to have a fucking shootout in the streets or to have an active police chase. So, if I were in charge of the police in this situation, here's what I would have done, okay? So, all vehicles have what is called a load jack on them, just about all, especially if it is a UPS truck, which carries cargo. The company has trackers on it. So not only that, but there is also a myriad of other ways the police could have kept track of this escape vehicle. Now, the number one job of the police in a situation like this should have been to serve and protect, right? Serve the people, protect the people. They had a live hostage, okay? So what they should have done was track this getaway car until it went out into the country. Let me show you guys something really quick, okay? Let me show you guys what Miami looks like on Google Earth. It didn't exactly happen in Miami. I believe it happened a little more to the west. So it was a little more towards the... It was around here, from my understanding. So, let me show on screen. Miami, a lot of suburbs, okay? A lot of suburbs, a lot of city, things like that. This is Miami. However, this is Florida. You don't have to go far anywhere before you just fucking hit Everglades or woods or not in the middle of a city. It isn't that hard. So I think if these police had more than 2 brain cells to rub together, I think they could have probably worked out a way to track this getaway vehicle far enough that they could be, that if once they try to confront them, that it wouldn't have resulted in a fucking massacre in the streets with several bystanders getting caught in the crossfire. Now, some people may respond, oh, but Pig Puncher, they gotta, what if they get away? What if they ditch the vehicle, or what if they get out and they get away? The goal here should not be for the police to try to save the jewelry or the packages, okay? It's all insured. All of it. The jewelry store owners will get their money back for it. The UPS company and everyone who ordered their stuff will get their stuff replaced, and they will be financially fucking compensated for it, alright? What is not insured are the lives of the people in danger in this situation. The number one goal of the police here should have been to track this vehicle until they went out somewhere rural. Because this is what you do when you're in a getaway vehicle. You go out somewhere rural, somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, right? You let them get as far away as you can without losing them, and then you confront them. But guess fucking what? That's not what they did. It's not what they did at all. So, as you can see, this image here, this right here is the UPS truck. This is where it all happened. Basically, what happened was all these cops in the middle of a crowded street. This is a big fucking intersection in the middle of Miami. I don't know exactly where this is. I live in Miami. This looks somewhat familiar, but trust me, this is a massive fucking intersection in Miami. To have a shootout occur here in rush hour in Miami here is fucking insane. This is actually embarrassing on the part of the police, okay? So this is what the police do, okay? They stop the UPS truck. They form a roadblock to stop the UPS truck in the middle of fucking the city during rush hour, instead of waiting for it to go out maybe somewhere into a more rural neighborhood, or better yet, out into the country, or out into the Everglades, somewhere that would have been more appropriate. And they start opening fire. Now, there were 200 shots exchanged in this conflict that happened here. 200 in one of the biggest intersections in Miami. Now, really quick, I'm going to bring up a video of the shooting, okay? Hold on. This is the part that pisses me off more than anything. There's a very particular video here that is hard to come across now because it seems like YouTube's been kind of taking it down, but it's pretty fucking insane. Let's see. There was footage of this that was taken from inside the car of one of the people involved here. Fuck. Where is it? It's not TOS. It's not TOS. Actually, you know what? Just to be safe, not going to show it. But what I will show is this. This is an image of the shootout happening, okay? There were people in these cars. The police were taking cover and firing at these people who had a hostage from behind occupied civilian vehicles. 200 shots were exchanged. And guess what? In the crossfire, the UPS driver was killed. He wasn't shot by one of the people holding him hostage. He was shot by the cops. I'll get to your dono in a second. Thank you so much. He was shot and killed by the cops. His death is the fault of the police here. 100%. This is very disappointing. Everything about this on the police side was fucking embarrassing. They were literally, yeah, they were using human shields. Now the UPS company did put out like a really fucking sorry, not sorry apology or statement, I should say. It was like, we're sorry to hear the loss of one of our workers. We thank the police for their blah blah blah. It was really bad. They've since taken it down and put up a new statement that actually, at the very least, says the name of the UPS employee who was killed, and it's just way better worded and doesn't suck the police off quite as much. This is actually disgusting. Not only that, it gets even worse, actually. It gets even fucking worse. On top of all of that, guess who the guy that was killed was? He was the, if I remember correctly, he was the head of, like, the labor... he was, like, I don't think they were... It was, like, a union. He was the head of, like, the worker rights... something at the company. I don't remember, but for their like local branch of UPS. He was like a cool fucking dude. He was advocating for like more rights for the workers, more privileges for the workers at UPS, and he got fucking killed by the police. It's actually disgusting that this happened. Everything about this was embarrassing, and not only that, but this says a lot about our police. Let's go back to this, actually. These police were so ready to get into a fucking shootout that they stopped the UPS truck as soon as they could so they could get into a fucking gunfight in the streets like it's Grand Theft Auto or some shit. 1312, boys. That's all I gotta say about this. Fucking disgusting.